Hey guys, Marcelo here.
And Wes.
Welcome to the second Arc 1 Trash Talk update. We're going to talk about some other stuff with the E3 games. We're going to add on to some of the games that were already out, that we kind of touched upon in the last update, and some new stuff for some of the other games. So, do you want to start off, or do you want me to start off?
Go ahead.
Okay, I guess I'll start with Mario. Oh, there's no notepad this time, by the way. It's all in here. This is my mental notepad. That was... Okay. Here we go. So for Super Smash Brothers for the Wii U and 3DS, they've been announcing on the main Super Smash Brothers channel, and there is a link below, of some of the veterans from past Smash Bros. Games, and some newcomers now have been introduced. So like, Princess Rosalina from the Mario Galaxy games has been confirmed to be a playable character, and Princess Zelda from the Zelda series, obviously, got introduced as well. Not introduced. They got confirmed to be returning. She's been in what, Melee, Brawl, and now this one. She wasn't in the 64 version. So, and then I think Marth was also confirmed to be back as well. So
awesome! I want to play as Marc again.
He gets to play as Marth again. If you don't know about that, watch Marc Plays on my channel, Destination Marc, for some really funny Marth moments. They've been showing new stages, because I found out they're categorizing the stages for like the 3DS version to be stages based around Nintendo games for the 3DS. So like there's lots of Zelda Link Between Worlds stuff, there's Mario 3D Land stuff, and then like I think another Zelda game, I forgot what it was what, Spirit Tracks, I think. And then for like the Wii U version, there's Wii U game levels that look like from those games for the Wii and the Wii U. So like, I think what, Woohoo Island from like Wii Sports Resort is one of the stages there. There's Mario Galaxy stages they confirmed are going to be in there. Rainbow Road from Mario Kart's going to be there too. That's going to be so awesome. Actually, the Rainbow Road stage is kind of, I don't know if you've seen it, I don't know if you've played it, the F-Zero stage from Melee, where you're on those futuristic cars and they're going by. Sometimes you have to hop onto other cars, because you're just, it's going to be like that, where like, I guess you jump on other people's carts or something and you kind of just ride along, I guess, I don't know. So the Rosalina trailer and whatever other trailers I can find of Smash Brothers are in the description below. And what was the other thing I said about? Oh, there is also a new Mario Kart 8 trailer depicting Rosalina as a playable character, and a cool airport stage, and I think some other stages as well. So some cool updated, I don't know why I'm doing this, but levels, courses, and stuff. So check out those trailers below. And your turn.
Alright, so I'm going to be talking about how Ryse is doing, because Ryse actually did come out.
Yeah.
And I was actually very disappointed that it got a 6. And when I saw it, I was like, wait, what?
I know, it got really...
It didn't get a high score as I thought it would. Yeah. I looked on Metacritic and I looked at Game Informer, two sources I trust, plus some other sources that I had. And I saw that it didn't do so well. So and I kept reading about it. They did say the story was really good. So I thought that doesn't make any sense.
Well, they gave it a low rating, but said the story mode was good.
The story mode was good, and they said the graphics were wonderful. And I was like, I just kept on reading, like, this doesn't make sense. Why did it get a 6? And then we went to gameplay, and they explained it there.
Yeah, that's the main reason why.
Well, the reason why Ryse didn't do as well as it did was because of 3 reasons. Number 1, gameplay. Hey, the gameplay was, for the most part, it was actually really good, but the finishers in the game really break it. Like the finishers we saw earlier that I said in the earlier video that we did on Ryse that I said were so freaking cool. They break the game.
Wow.
And they take no skill they take no skill at doing, and they just break the gameplay of it really bad.
So what is it, like too easy or to execute, or like
No, sometimes it's like just really difficult to get it in, I guess.
also too hard to execute?
Well, no, they say it's a bit too easy, and the enemy and then I guess it's I guess it's 4 reasons, in which 2, the enemies they show you a bunch of enemies in the early levels, but they don't change them, so the enemies become generic and all that. Which is very disappointing. That the enemies don't get bigger and badder as you go along; they just kind of stay the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's not. That's a shame.
that is a shame. It's like, oh, so the enemies don't really change up. That's kind of okay.
Yeah, I can see.
And then 3 out of the 4, number 3, the story's way too linear, as you get to explore like this really big city, but then like invisible 4th walls just block your path, so you can only go one way, or and that's kind of a shame too.
Like you were reading, and I remember what you said from the description of what they were talking about, like other critics. The worlds are very vast and very wide, so it looks like you've got a lot to explore, but they limit you with those invisible walls. That games tend to have, so that's common.
Well, that's common, but a lot of people weren't really expecting that. I mean, you're a Roman, like freaking charging a city full of barbarians, but you're only limited to this one area. That's kind of bullcrap right there.
Yeah.
And then reason 4, the story. The story is really good. It's only 5 hours long, so it's really short. So because of those 4 reasons, I'm gonna have to agree with that. I haven't experienced playing it, but I really feel ashamed that it got a really good score. And many people said there are some parts that are just really good about the game, and then other parts are just annoying as hell. So I believe this game could have been a lot better. There is some good games, and there was effort put into it, but clearly not enough to help it out. And that's a shame. It really looked like a really interesting game.
It did.
But
now, would you? Your verdict, both our verdicts were 5s, weren't they on that?
yeah, I think so.
Would you say you would maybe change your mind about that and change your verdict, or would you have to wait to experience it? Actually experience it.
I would change my verdict a little bit to a 3.5, but once I experience it, I would give it probably a different score.
So you're
But from hearing that, I would probably change my score, just because, like.
So your new verdict's a 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, for that game. And
Wow.
it really looked really nice. And the way they portrayed it was just really cool looking. But I don't know.
So that's that.
And it's not the only Xbox One exclusive game that's gotten a 6. There's another game on Xbox One that's gotten a lower score.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't remember what it's called, but it got a 6. And then I was reading the verdicts on them, and pretty much all the PlayStation 4 or titles that were released so far did really well. And once they got a lot of 8s, they got above an 8.
Wow.
And some of the Xbox One exclusives have gotten similar scores like that. But 2 titles, one of them being Ryse, again, that I thought was going to be really good, didn't do so well. That's kind of disappointing.
Yeah. So we were looking forward to that game.
We were looking forward about that that game, but I don't know, if I bought it, I'll probably be disappointed by it.
I was going to say, would you still play it or not? I might still play it just because I'm a little bit more optimistic. I would still like to try and experience it to see, because we're just going off of what other people have said about the game, and I would like to try and play it to see if what I had said about it would probably still hold up, like personally. So yeah. So my turn again.
Yeah.
What else did I want to say? I had told you what I wanted to say before we filmed. Okay. The elephant in the room for me, anyway, personally, is how I approached. This is for Arc 2. Really briefly, how I approached the Crash Bandicoot Spyro rant. More of the Skylanders Spyro route than the Crash route. Because I still pretty much stick to what I believe about Crash. But for Spyro, I felt as I was filming and watching the footage back while I was editing that episode, part 2 of the rant, that I might have come off as very brash, and I did apologize in the description, but I want to physically announce my apology of how I was. I mean, the overreactions are the overreactions, and okay, that was put up for comedy or whatever. But addressing the parents and the children could have been done differently. I'm sorry with how I approached it. What I feel, what I'm starting to feel now about that issue is because it goes pretty deep. It goes into like the generations of kids, how we're one generation that were born in the, in the 90s. So everything there was as it was, however it was coming out, and we were hooked. And to see how it's evolved from there to now, and with Spyro specifically, this spin-off series, Skylanders, how it's not about Spyro that much anymore, at least what I'm seeing it like. If kids want to play it because it's very, if kids want to play Skylanders because it looks entertaining, by all means just go for it. If that's, I really, until I can figure out how this is just going to work, because I cannot tolerate Skylanders. I will not ever change my opinion.
And it's not because it's a bad game. We actually did see a review on its recent game adaptation.
Swap Force.
Yeah, and it actually did really good. And I think it actually got a 9 or something.
I think this is.
It's really good.
I think it's just a personal issue.
It might just be your personal.
Because I'm a longtime veteran of Spyro and of Crash, but the Crash theme is the Crash theme. If kids find it entertaining, then by all means, I guess, buy it for them. I would just like, at least for them to know, hey, Skylanders is part of another franchise. It's Spyro the Dragon. I would like, at least for kind of the kids who may not know who Spyro is, but know Skylanders, to at least see, hey, it's Spyro. I mean, this is really tough to tackle. If you were in my position, I don't know how you guys would approach this, but this is just, it's kind of difficult for me to really pinpoint my problems. Like, I know them, but they're kind of hard to just release to you guys. I mean, the basic issues are this. Spyro is Spyro, and that's what I grew up with. And then over the course of time, like Crash, it was starting to change, not too drastically. The reboot is the reboot. It's a reboot. That's, of course, it's going to change. There's lots of things that will change. Skylanders is a spin-off, but it did change lots of things drastically. It's supposed to be part of the Spyro franchise, but it has nothing to do with Spyro himself, the character. And now I have my issues with the way he looks, and his voice actor, whose name will be here, because I'm going to look it up. I still don't really know his name, but that's my own other issue. The series in itself, I would just feel more comfortable if it wasn't about Spyro, like, at all. If Spyro and Skylanders were split like Rayman and Raving Rabbids. Ubisoft said, hey, let's split that, And they did. Bye! They did. They split the series, and that's what I think what Activision should do with Spyro and Skylanders. I apologize for how I was like, oh, you need to show them Spyro before buying them Skylanders, or you maybe even shouldn't buy Skylanders for them at all. If you want to go ahead, I would just rather, like, they know that it was, like, part of another series, I guess. Like I said, it's a really hard thing to tackle, this situation, and really it's just personal problems, the way I feel about it. I'm just sorry for how I acted with that video. I still think Activision, because I went right out at Activision in that video, I still think that that's what they need to do. Really, basically. But again, I apologize for how I got serious, but really just like in your guys' face, I guess. And I really did not want to come off like that. I really just wanted to state my facts and try to start changing people's minds about, oh, yeah, Skylanders is part of Spyro, but there really isn't much of Spyro, is there? Like, that's kind of what I wanted to go for. But until I can just get this issue further resolved, I guess that's just where it's at. I mean, I have my personal issues, but if you want to play Skylanders, then I guess go for it. I don't know. That's really all I can say right now. Until I get my thoughts more developed and such.
And with that, this is the end of Trash Talk. I'm Wes.
I'm Marcelo.
And this was Trash Talk. See you guys later.
The update. Arc 3 will be coming soon. Would you, really quick, before we leave, do you want to just announce what we're doing for the third arc?
Yeah. With this third arc, you're probably wondering what we did. With the first arc, we did E3 games.
Yeah.
The new games that were coming out for the new generation. Along with the Xbox One, PS4 debate.
Uh-huh.
The last
arc, Arc 2.
Yeah, this last arc 2.
It was more about, now, from that arc on, it's going to be about games that have been out for a while. You know, they could have been just released or have been like old classic favorites, you know, like we went over Zelda at one point. But freaking thing. Okay.
But with Arc 3, we're designed to do retro games.
Retro games from the 80s and 90s and maybe even the early 2000s. So look forward to that. Give us some requests if you feel like it, because we got a request last arc and that was pretty cool. So, whatever games you'd like to see us review, go ahead and send those requests and we'll see what we can do. So, see you guys later.
See ya.
Bye.
Hugs.
No. Oh, and one more thing. I wanted to talk about one other thing very quickly. My experience with Mario 3D World. It finally, you know, as you guys have known, it's out, and I've pretty much almost beat it 100% already. It is amazing. The game is just so incredible. Also, really quick, spoiler alert. If you don't want to watch this part, don't. Because there's some spoilers if you haven't beat the game. Rosalina is a 5th playable character. She's a secret 5th playable character in Mario 3D World. I think I said it earlier. She was in Super Smash Bros. She was in Mario Kart 8. She was in Mario Kart 7 and Mario Kart Wii. I think she might have even been in Mario Party, the new one for the 3DS Island Tour, right? My brother's over here, by the way. This has led me to believe that Nintendo really wants to make a new Mario Galaxy game. A Mario Galaxy 3. And by all means, please, Nintendo, do it. That would be incredible with the way the graphics look, especially for Mario 3D World. Amazing. Like, oh my god. It would be so cool to have either the first game as an HD remake or a third game. That would just be incredible. Like, you can tell with all of the Mario Galaxy stuff they've been adding into these games recently that they want to make it. And that would just be so fucking cool. So please do that. Overall...
Please do it, or else you'll leave this guy mad.
and I'll take it out on him. So, my verdict is still a 5 out of 5 in Mario 3D World, and for good reason. The gameplay is just awesome, the controls are great. I'm doing this real fast because this is a little end of the video thing. If you have a Wii U and haven't played it yet, please, play it. Play it! You have a Wii U. He bought a Wii U recently. It's,
yeah, I did.
Zelda Wind Waker HD edition. But, you need to play it. It's cool.
And then my verdict for the game,
because he did play it too.
I did play it, and it was actually, I played it with this guy here.
We were doing multiplayer, that's because it was really cluttered. It felt a little bit, from the way the multiplayer was, but,
I don't know, it felt fun. It was a little bit confusing, but it was fun.
At first, yeah. Most Mario multiplayers, when it's like a lot of people running around the screen, can be like that.
Yeah.
So, but please, check it out. I'm sorry, this was a last-minute edition. I forgot to talk about it in the actual huge chunk of, you know, whatever.
And then my verdict's 5 out of 5, by the way.
5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. Okay, bye.
See ya.
Ready?
Yeah.
Why are you guys laughing?
I'm not laughing.
Okay, we're starting now.
What?
Okay, are you done?
I'm trying to make myself look nice in front of the camera.
You already have a coat on. You're good.
Just go ahead.